Okay, coming back home again. It's good to be able to do that and experience what it's like to stay at home. Uh, all of these experiences seem like first-time experiences for us right now, with all kind of the new procedures that we're going through and all that. So anxious to see if we can get through it and do well and handle the week really well, and get ourselves a good ball game. Dallas had a spectacular, stunning win last week, and they're come from behind and all that, all the heroics and all, and great finish for them. So they'll be all jacked up, and they have a talented football team. They've got a lot of star power. They got a big group of skilled guys on offense that can throw it and catch it and run it and all that. So we got our hands full. It's going to be a tough football game.
Masvidal.
Hey Pete, just wondering what your thoughts were on the passing of Gayle Sayers. Can you hear me?
Masvidal, try again.
Okay, Pete, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can't hear you, Maz. Sorry.
Okay.
Now I got it. Go. Start again.
The passing of Gayle Sayers, just your thoughts about what he was as a man and and a football player.
Yeah, it happened to be one of my idols when I was growing up. I had his poster right next to my bed, and was just the guy that I was most in love with watching him play. And so I got his picture on my wall right now in my office. So just being like a little kid about it. So yeah, it's miss guys that affected so many people. I mean, I'm just one person. I'm sure he affected a ton of people in the same way. A guy that made the Hall of Fame in 68 games. It's amazing that he was able to do that, and the impression that he made on everybody. So he was, he was so much my idol. I wore his number and the whole thing, when I was growing up. So, yeah, we'll really miss him.
Ethan Porsick, the leadership he's now, evolved into. Can you talk a little bit about that on the offensive line?
Yeah, Ethan's done a really nice job. He kind of took the lead in the competition with his background that he had in our program and knowledge of the system and all of that. Being a really smart player, it was just obvious that he had an edge, and he's just kind of built on that. And I think he's instilled confidence in the people around him, in Russell, that he can command the whole thing. He's off to a really nice start with 2 really solid games, and we're really, really pleased with that he was able to come through and win the job. Now, they're still competing and all, but because it's so early in the year. But he's taking advantage of the opportunity, and so we're in good shape there.
Thank you.
Jen?
You were familiar with Mike McCarthy from Green Bay. How much of what he did with the Packers is translated to what you can expect to see Sunday with Cowboys? Yeah,
it's going to take you a little longer. We need some more games here to figure out what they're doing. With returning the same offensive coordinator in a very productive offense a year ago, Kellen's there's a lot of similarities in what they've done that aren't exactly the same as what Mike does. I'm sure that Mike saw that they had a really good thing going and wanted to build on that, and I'm sure we'll see more stuff as we go. But it looks like they brought a lot of carryover from last year, which makes sense for the quarterback and the receivers that they have, and the running back and guys up front. And so they took advantage of rehiring him. So, but Mike's a great football coach and tactician and all that kind of stuff. We'll figure it out here. As we just got to get more games in. We just got to get ready this week.
John?
Yeah, Pete, with Ugo kind of stepping in for Marquise in that nickel role, just what do you want to see out of him? Obviously, he has some experience there, but what does he need to do to be successful there?
Well, just do what he does. He knows the position quite well. He's an effective football player in that wherever you put him in the game, things happen, and he's been really special in the team's area. And the other night he was all over the field. So excited to have that kind of experience backing up, and it's not a wealth of experience because he played half a year or whatever last year, but it's good to have him, and we do trust him, and he knows our system really well.
Corbin?
Hey, Pete, the other day you mentioned that Brian Mone, you thought he played his best game that you've seen. He's actually had a lot of success getting after the quarterback. ESPN listed him with one of the top 10 pass rush win rates for defensive tackles the first 2 weeks. Do Do you have any inkling the big fella was going to be able to contribute like that in that capacity this year?
Interesting you should ask. When in this offseason, we're taking a look at our depth and our personnel as we always do, and we're going through it. I went back and pulled up all of his plays that he played a year ago just to look and see, to not have the evaluation coming through the season with him, but a post evaluation and look back at it. And he had 40 or something plays, whatever it was, and he played really consistent last year, and he played technique well. He played his responsibility and his gap control stuff. He did really well, and he had a couple opportunities to really chase the football. And at 340 pounds, whatever he was, we were concerned that will we have another big guy that can share the time and get in the rotation. And I came out of that evaluation with a whole new thought of him, and I thought, well, shoot, he looked pretty darn good. We're going to give him a real shot and see how he does, and he has really just taken to it. He's a good football player. He does everything you want. He gives everything he's got, and he's a big effort guy for a big man. And so, he's done very well. So I'm not really after that, that kind of reevaluation. I'm not surprised that he's doing a really solid job and adds to the rotation that we need.
Michael Sean.
Hey Pete, I'm not sure if you heard about the grand the grand jury decision on the Breonna Taylor case in Louisville yet, and if it's something that you plan on talking about with your team. Had you heard about it yet or no?
Yes, and I went back and just read up again because I wanted to make sure I had more of a sense, but I don't have enough understanding yet to really talk about it with our guys. But it'll be a topic, we'll bring it up here in the next couple of days to make sure that we're addressing whatever the questions are and whatever we need to go to get through it. It warrants the attention, I think, and so we can all come to a good understanding of how everybody should evaluate it, and people. I'm open for guys evaluating it their own way and seeing what they see, but it's another difficult kind of assessment firsthand. Just because we want to see more action, we want to see things taken, to a new level of understanding and awareness and all of that, and handling cases such as this, and so we'll see. But we definitely will get after it here in the next couple of days. I need to know more before I can.
Bob.
Yeah, I was wondering first if you have an update on Rasheem Green, and then also I was wondering what your assessment is of the play of your cornerback so far, Quentin and Shaquille Griffin specifically.
Yeah, Rasheem is he's still kind of in the same mode. We haven't turned the corner yet. We'll have to see as this week goes on if he improves enough where he'll be able to play this week. He's not feeling that bad, but he's still got a little something going on that we got to wait through it and see which day it turns, and so we won't know until later in the week. But he hasn't been cleared yet for this week, so we'll see what happens. On the corners, they've played really solid. They're gonna catch some balls. We've seen 100 passes already, it seems. They're going to catch some balls, but I like Quentin's had a chance to have 3 interceptions already. He's been in position. A couple balls, he couldn't quite seal the deal on, but he had a big pick in the game and another really good play in the game too. And Griff has been really solid. Shaq has been really solid on the other side, and I think those guys are doing fine.
Tim.
Pete, who do you intend to have fill Bruce's Sam role?
What's going to happen this week, this is an opportunity for Jordan Brooks to start, and so we'll let you see how that works out. But he is going to take the opportunity to step up and be part of the 3 linebacker situation, so we're looking forward to it.
He worked mostly at will during training camp. Do you intend to flop KJ because of his experience there and have Jordan stay at will?
We'll let you see what's going on at game time, if you don't mind.
And then how have you haven't seen the Cowboys since 2018. I'm just curious how you've seen Dak develop over the last year and I guess working with Kellen as his offensive coordinator during that time.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really a good football player. He's playing with great confidence, great stature in the pocket, and handling the rush around him and able to escape it when he needs to. Really solid. His accuracy is really there. And he can throw the ball all over the field. There's nothing that he doesn't do well. Can throw moving in both directions. They include him in the running game some, enough to be a problem, and he can scramble and make plays happen. He's playing really well, and they've been at a high level of production on offense for a good while now, since really they've been together. Kellen's done a nice job with him, and I think he looks like a terrific football player.
Matt?
Pete, what have you liked about what Bobby's done so far in the first couple weeks? And I know, in addition to that, he was saying last year that he wanted to improve some aspects of his pass defense. Have you seen anything in that regard, specifically into how he's improved?
Yeah, I thought the first week was the best game he's ever played in pass defense. He's had more tight coverage, more breakups, good hits on stuff, because he's seeing routes and concepts well, using the coverage well. He seems like this is the best he's been, and which is understandable, because he's you keep getting better as you go. The numbers pass defense wise aren't showing that, because we're seeing a lot of throws, but I'm really able to count on him to totally understand what he's doing and take advantage of stuff and make breaks and get balls knocked on the ground and all, more so than ever. And so I'm really fired up about it. His kind of like this next step he's taken.
Thank you.
Joe?
Pete, have you made a decision on Kyle Fuller yet?
Made a decision on Kyle Fuller. What?
He's eligible to return off the suspended list this week.
Say it again.
I don't know.
Yes, we have.
Is he going to be coming back to the active roster?
There's a good chance that could happen. I don't know what's happened since I've been out here on the field and all that, but we welcome him back. We're anxious to get him back to us, and we'll see how it goes. I don't have the information for you yet. Sorry.
And then how has DeAndre Walker been since you got your hands on him at the beginning of the season, and then you see progressing to where he could be a candidate to help replace Bruce as well?
Yes, the answer is yes to that. He has been playing the Sam Backer spot for us, and has been growing with us, and he's done a nice job. He's working really hard. We can see him as a potential special teams guy as well, and he has rushed the passer some in his background, in college and all, quite a bit, matter of fact. So he's coming. He's really on the come, and hopefully, he's in consideration to be part of the rotation. So we'll see how the week goes.
Curtis?
Hey Pete, what stood out to you the most about Dallas's offense and watching them these first 2 weeks?
If
any structure with CD added to the group and everything.
Yeah, they're really talented. The receivers are all special. CD's jumped right in. I mean, just taking over the slot, and they love having him on the field. They're playing a lot of three receivers. Amari's ridiculous. I mean, so this is a really good, talented group, and when that's what you see. You see guys, and when you have Zeke carrying the football, who's a fantastic runner and ball catcher, they're loaded. These guys are really good, and we were talking about what Dak's doing. So it's really the impression that you get from the skill people and the level of skill that they have, and they're wide open. They spread the field nicely. They get the ball down the field. Dak can do all of it. So it's a very difficult offense to deal with, and it has balance in it because of the running back.
And you mentioned after the game that there was some coverage issues after Quandre and Marquise went out. How did you kind of see that? And with Jamal being back there too, there was a couple over him and such. How that all played out?
Yeah, we have to play better. We weren't as sharp as we needed to be when Quandre went out, and it emphasized how much we've been leaning on him. So the idea is we've got to play better if we do get in backup situations, backup guys playing on the field, and we got to keep Q out there, So that's an area for us that we really have to play better football. We can't give up the kinds of yards we're giving up in stuff that we know how to handle and stuff that's not difficult. So we need to play much better there.
Greg?
Pete, do you have enough in-house in your pass rush, or what's the possibility of an import?
Well, we're always competing to find some help in all areas, and so we're doing that. But we have to generate our rush. It really, had we just converted the sacks that we had available, that we had our hands on the quarterback last week, we'd have had 5 sacks. Okay, say we missed one and we had 4 sacks, we'd be thinking, oh, well, that's a nice pass rush day, because we are around the quarterback never as much as you want and you hope for, but we need to finish our rushes. I mean, I don't know why we're leaning on the safety so much, other than the fact that he's a really good football player. But he had 2 other sacks in his hands, last week, and so. Yeah, well, we need to convert and finish the plays. We didn't do a good job on Cam, and I felt like I didn't emphasize it properly with our guys during the week, how difficult he is to tackle. But we'll keep working on it. So the point is, you asked about in-house. Yeah, we got some guys that are working, and competition is on for who could step up and be the next guy. So I don't want to dig into that one for you, but we're working with the guys we have.
With how you like to play defense, what's the downfall or the risk of so much blitzing that seems to be more than your norm so far?
The downfall would be if you don't execute well. You can become vulnerable if you're showing your stuff, and guys can take advantage of it and pick it up, and also have the rhythm to take advantage of whatever the coverage is. Because we pressure with zone and we pressure with man coverages both, and so if you're tipping things off, then they can take advantage of it. And with more guys committed, the basics of that answer is with more guys committed across the line of scrimmage, you have less guys in coverage, so there's more spacing out there. And you got to come through in your man-to-mans, and you got to do a nice job when you're zone it. And but that hasn't been an issue for us right now. We're not like getting hurt when we're pressuring only. We just need to clean some things up.
And finally, can you communicate effectively with the NFL mask policy?
Well, it's interesting you would say it that way, because of the coaches, we all have our way we work, and the style that we work with, and some guys are different. We're different. We're all unique, I think, in some regard. And in this time, I know personally I have to adapt. I got to fix some things to stay in compliance, and I just need to do better. And but it's if you watch us on the sideline, some guys coach one way and some guys coach another way. Well, I'm kind of on the move, and I got a lot of stuff I got to get across to whomever. At least it seems like that's the case. And so hopefully it helps sometimes. And so I just got to be able to transition. It is difficult in the movement of the game to be heard, and so that's the problem. And you saw the play callers. The play callers have to adapt as well. Those guys are talking every snap. Looks like Andy's got a real good thing with the welder, kind of the welder equipment he's wearing, but he's always worn a hat too. So anyway, we got to figure it out, and we got to do better. That's obviously the case. It's too important to wear these masks, and it's too important. Really, if nothing else, we send a good image out, and I got to send a better image out, supporting the fact that we know here and we believe in the masks are a big difference and can make a big difference. And we've had tremendous success keeping our guys safe, and our guys wear masks in all our walkthroughs and in the meetings, and we all do. And so we think it's all part of it. I just did a poor job game time.
Would you wear an Andy Reid welder mask?
I don't think that one's mine. I'm gonna come up with something else. I'm expecting some young person to send me a message or something. Send me an example. Draw me up one, and we'll try to create it or something. I need some help.
Thank you.
Art.
Pete, you mentioned Monday how pleased you were about the pass pro, and you mentioned Ethan Posick in particular for being better than you thought. Looking back on it now with 2 weeks of results, what do you say, what or who was influential in making the progress that you've seen so far?
In the pass protection?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the consistency of Brandon Shell is obvious, and Damian has done a nice job also. He's really a powerful guy, and he's very precocious. In terms of a football player, he's learned stuff and he feels stuff, and he's got real good sense for what's going on. And I think Mike and Dwayne have always been solid, and Ethan's done his part too, and so I'm really happy with the right side. Those guys have really been really solid, and they're just getting going. I mean, you can't get any younger or newer than that, and I'm really pleased that those guys have made as much progress as early as possible.
Was there anything in practice that you did, given the absence of practice and having to do a lot in Zoom, that seemed to pay off, at least in the coaching and?
Yeah, it was that meeting I held and coached them all up on Pass Pro. No, I don't think there was any specific that had to do with the Zoom season, but I think the players are, they're good, and then they're doing a nice job. And of course, Mike and BC, they're coaching those guys. They're making sense to them. They're making their calls. Ethan's had a big factor in that. Shoddy, mixing the protections to stay ahead of the pass rush attack is part of it as well. We've got good help. Our backs block well, and the tight ends have blocked well too. When they aid in pass protection. So, all the whole thing. And then Russ has been fast with the football, which is always a big part of it. So, there's a lot of positives they're adding to it. But I really think what I'm seeing is the right side has really been solid as a start to the season. So, we'll see if we can keep going.
Brady.
Hey, Pete, we've seen Jordan Brooks' speed, but I'm wondering, where do you feel like his readiness is to play with that speed and to be able to cut it loose and everything like that on game day?
He can do everything that we're asking our guys to do. He's equipped to do everything. It's just experience. That's all that's all he's missing out on. He's going to be able to do everything, whether he's coming off the edge or he's covering guys down the field, pressuring. He's a good tackler. He's a good hitter. He diagnoses real well. We saw that from the mock game on, that he had some nice plays there, and he just needs to get out there. And when he gets out there, he's going to, will there be some mistakes? Yeah, like a young guy does. He's going to miss some things at times, but we'll make up for it around him and as he's developing.
Last question, Jackie.
Hey, Coach, I apologize if you've answered this already. I joined late, but you singled out special teams and their performance this last week. I'm just curious how what you've seen from Michael Dixon and just how impressed you've been with him these last couple
Yeah,
weeks.
well, Mike, you guys know that he was chosen Player of the Week, Special Teams Player of the Week this week for bombing the football and pinning him back. He has been almost perfect so far, and so he's off to a great start, which is important. I know he wanted to get better this year, and so he started well. He 50-yard net punts in the game, no punt return yardage. That's a big deal. That's a lot of guys contributing to that as well, and starting with Tyler ripping the ball back to him. But he's just been on it, and so we're real excited about the start. Players, everybody loves Mike, and so everybody's fired up that he got some recognition there too. And let me say too that in general, we've been really efficient in special teams, and the fact that we haven't we've been really clean. I don't even want to say it. Been really clean with staying out of trouble is a real positive, and we've already taken the ball off them one time. So just a lot of real positive things happening.
Thank you.
Good. All right. See you.